Welcome back to Pause and Respond. I'm Josua Rine, licensed professional counselor. And today we're starting a brand new series called The Honesty Advantage. Now this series matters because emotional control alone is not enough. A lot of people have learned how to suppress reactions. A lot of people have learned how to stay quiet in tenseful situations. A lot of people have learned how to appear calm even though they're being reactive or uncomfortable inside. But appearing calm and being honest are not the same things. One of the biggest emotional problems happening in relationships right now is that people are becoming emotionally filtered instead of emotionally cleared. They tend to say one thing, but mean another. They wonder why resentment builds underneath the surface. And that's what we're going to talk about in this series, which is based on the new book, The Honesty Advantage, from the Pause and Respond series. Because most people are not exploding because they are crazy. Most people are exploding because they've spent months, years, minimizing what they actually felt and feel. And today we're starting one of those most common forms of dishonesty that exists. Not cheating, not manipulation, not even dramatic lies. Just one simple sentence. I'm fine. Saying it even when you're not. And the reason this matters is because every time you disconnect from what is truly internal, you create that tension externally. That tension has to go somewhere. It begins to show up in overthinking, irritability, feelings of distance, moods of exhaustion, passive aggression, resentments, and for some, emotional shutdown. And eventually people don't even realize they're carrying it anymore. Because after carrying it for so long, it begins to just feel normal. One of the hardest truths to accept is this. Most people are not lying to others first. They're lying to themselves. They convince themselves things like, it didn't bother me. It's not a big deal. I shouldn't have felt that way. I'm just overreacting. I'll just let that one go. The difficulty is they didn't let it go, not internally. Instead, they simply buried it. And there's a difference. And the problem with emotional suppression is that your body still keeps score of unresolved emotion, even when your mouth says that you're okay. You can watch this happen in real time with people. They say things like, no, I'm good, but their tone changed. Their energy changed. Maybe their patience in the situation begins to shorten. Their facial expressions begin to look different. And you can see that their nervous system is activated. Because the body responds to emotional dishonesty even when the mind is trying to minimize it. And this starts early for a lot of people. A lot of men especially were never taught emotional clarity. They were taught emotional containment, to keep it together, not to complain. Don't make things harder. Just move on. So now as adults, many people only know two emotional settings: silence or explosion. There doesn't seem to be a whole lot in the middle. No healthy expression, no calm honesty, no emotional clarity. Just suppression until the pressure builds high enough to break containment. And then everyone acts shocked when someone finally snaps. But most emotional explosions are hardly random. They tend to be accumulated. Think about how much mental energy people spend carrying conversations that they never actually had. Somebody disrespects you at work. You might not say anything. Now you begin to replay it for 3 days in your head. Someone disappoints you in a relationship, and you tell them I'm fine, but now you feel emotionally distant for the next week. Somebody crosses a boundary. You minimize it externally, but internally, you feel frustrated every time you see them afterwards. And this is what unresolved honesty does. It creates psychological pressure. And what's dangerous is people often adapt to this pressure instead of just resolving it. They normalize the feeling of chronic tension. They normalize the feelings of emotional exhaustion. They normalize their internal frustrations. And eventually they stop asking, what am I feeling? And they start asking, why am I always irritated? Because unresolved emotion leaks, even when words don't. This is why people become sarcastic, passive-aggressive, emotionally withdrawn, or defensive, short-tempered. The emotion stored always comes out somewhere, always. People have this idea that silence prevents conflict, but silence only transforms conflict to emotional distance. And distance is harder to repair because it grows quietly. One of the most important things to understand is this: your brain seeks completion. That's why unresolved conversations replay in your head over and over. You think about what you should have said, what you could have said, what you wish you would have said. People call this overthinking. And sometimes it may be. But many times, it's simply just unresolved honesty. Because internally, your brain knows something important has been left incomplete. You communicated a socially acceptable response instead of an honest one. So your mind keeps reopening the situation, trying to emotionally resolve it. This is why people replay arguments while driving, in the shower, laying in bed, during their quiet moments. The brain keeps revisiting unresolved emotional experiences because internally they still feel unfinished. And the longer this pattern continues, the more emotionally cluttered people become. This is why some people feel mentally exhausted all the time. They are carrying hundreds of unresolved emotional moments simultaneously. Unspoken frustration, hurt, disappointment, fear, needs. And eventually that internal noise becomes chronic anxiety. Because emotional suppression creates nervous system tension. Your body was not designed to permanently carry unresolved emotional pressure. Now here's where people confuse emotional intelligence with emotional avoidance. A lot of people think, if I stay quiet, I'm displaying maturity. If I avoid conflict, I'm demonstrating emotional intelligence. If I just don't bring things up, I'm keeping the peace. No, you may simply be avoiding discomfort. Real emotional intelligence is not avoiding difficult conversations. It's learning how to have them without losing control of yourself. Those things are completely different. Avoidance temporarily reduces anxiety, but long-term, it increases resentment. And resentment changes relationships slowly over time. People feel emotionally safe. People stop feeling emotionally safe with each other. Communications become unfiltered. People stop bringing up concerns honestly. And eventually, they stop feeling known by each other. And this happens all the time in marriages. Couples don't usually disconnect overnight. They become disconnected through years of incomplete honesty, years of, it's okay, never mind, forget it, it's not worth talking about it, until eventually the relationship becomes emotionally shallow because honesty stopped existing underneath the surface. And when people say we just grew apart, no, most of the time people did not grow apart. They slowly stopped communicating honestly with each other. It's really that simple most times. Now, honesty does not mean emotional dumping, and that's important. Some people hear honesty and think, well, I should just say whatever I feel. No, that would fall into impulsivity. Honesty without regulation becomes simple aggression. But regulation without honesty becomes suppression. The idea of the pause and respond framework is about combining both. Pause first, understand what you're actually feeling, and then communicate it clearly and calmly. Not perfectly, but clearly. That may sound something like, honestly, I felt dismissed in that conversation. Or maybe, I don't think I fully communicated how much that affected me. Or, I said I was fine earlier, but I actually think I was frustrated. Or maybe I need to talk about something I've been carrying. That kind of honesty creates emotional clarity. And clarity changes relationships because people can work through difficult truths. What destroys relationships is confusion, avoidance, guessing, and hidden resentment. This series matters because we're living in a time where people are increasingly emotionally disconnected from themselves. People are overstimulated, distracted, reactive, filtered. But very few people are deeply honest. Not harsh, not dramatic, not emotionally reckless, but just simply honest, clear about what they feel, what they need, what their boundaries are, what disappoints them, and about how resentment before it grows. And when people develop that skill, their entire emotional life changes. Their anxiety lowers, their relationships improve, their communication sharpens, their thinking becomes cleaner, their nervous system becomes less overloaded, because honesty removes that internal friction. All right, so this week's challenge. This week, I want you to pay attention to every time you say, I'm fine, it's okay, no problem, or it doesn't matter. I want you to pause long enough to ask yourself, was that actually true, or was that avoidance? Because awareness is where honesty begins, and honesty is where emotional clarity begins. If this episode connected with you, the new Pause and Respond book, Honesty Advantage, goes into much deeper detail on emotional honesty, communication, and overthinking. You can get the books, workbooks, podcast resources, and coaching information at pauseandrespond.com. If this episode helps you, share it with someone who constantly says I'm fine, even when they're clearly carrying something heavy. This is Pause and Respond. Less reaction, more choice.